in the season of giving, it's like, oh, especially now, I need to be spending time on doing things for other people, buying them thoughtful gifts, wrapping presents, volunteering at my kids' school, like being pulled in all these directions. How are we going to carve out a tiny bit of time for ourselves to keep fitness? Because we know how we feel when we don't.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 𝐃𝐞𝐬𝐧𝐠 Save Lives podcast. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Rachael. Happy December, everyone. Oh, Kelsey's not happy about
I don't know
Why are you so mad?
I genuinely have no idea how I'm going to react to things. I'm just as surprised as everybody else.
Are you surprised it's December, or are you surprised
I
that
think
you...
that, I think that November was such a blur that mentioning the fact that it's December now is shocking, and I feel like I missed time, and I'm not sure. Sorry.
Well, sometimes you just wake up in December and you're like, holy shit. I feel like that. Oh, what?
I need to have a drink.
Oh, okay. But I was just wondering why it wasn't coffee. It's still like 10 a.m. Oh, double
It's all
drink.
about
Double.
balance,
Okay.
Rachael. You gotta have a little coffee, a little water. I try and just like keep the anxiety down with a little water in between. This is our first tip. Guys, drink some water. Let's all collectively have a little sip of water. We know you're
Okay.
dehydrated.
Okay. Oh, I'm a little low.
You don't got anything
Okay.
in there?
Well,
Did you have your
maybe
matcha?
next time. Yeah. Well, that is my mantra, but I went hard.
Oh.
So, yeah. So, you know what I was going to say to you too? And I was going to say this off air, but it is what it is. I was going to say to you that this time of year, I just feel like it's like a lot of like, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I feel like my alcohol consumption is so over the top this time of year, solely because like, well, I don't know how like other people do it, but there's more like parties and there's more like things where it's like social drinking. And then there's just like a lot of stress too, which is like ends in a, glass of wine every night. And I was thinking about, the fact of I want to right now I'm really focused on keeping like my cortisol levels a little bit lower. And I was thinking about, the elevated cortisol levels that come with consistently drinking. And I was thinking maybe we could do an episode where we try those like calm down mocktails. Have you seen those, or is it just me that's getting advertised for those?
No, I have seen those, but I don't know if it's because you sent it to me or
Oh.
I'm not sure if
Well, you've seen them.
which
They're like,
came first. Yeah.
but there's like multiple brands, and I don't know which one like is good. Here's the thing about those is you buy them, and then like if you don't like them, you have like a 6-pack, and what are you supposed to do? Or if
Yeah.
they're like
You just gift
totally...
them. It's the gift giving season. You don't
Yeah,
like
but
them,
there's
you put
one
them in a
missing.
thing. It's like I got you 4. You have to take them out of like, the
Oh.
6-pack, and then you just put them maybe like in a basket, and you're like, nobody's gonna count them.
Well, I kind of
Gift
like
giving
to
guide with Kelsey.
I like to stand behind the thing. Like if I'm giving that to someone, I like to be like,
I
"Oh,
know you
I
like to
love
love it.
those." Yeah, and you're going to love them. And so, I don't know, I was thinking maybe we could order like a variety, different brands and stuff, and we could try them and then do an episode where we like give our thoughts on like, "Oh, yeah, this one was, what do they call it? Snake oil. That didn't do anything. That's gonna calm me down." Because a lot of them are like, oh, we have ashwagandha and we
Yeah. Well,
have
we can compare
mushrooms and adaptins.
maybe like some of the ones that work for you don't work for me and vice versa. I don't know.
I
It
know,
could
that's what
be
I
a
was
great
thinking.
experiment.
So I was just thinking maybe we do that because I just feel like December is a time where a lot of people are sort of looking for a way to wind down, but like maybe not just like drinking every night or like, whoa, that's just me 4 times a week. Um, so I just think, yeah, I want to do that. Want to
Yeah,
test some of
let's
those
do it.
out. Okay, cool. That was
Guys,
all
if you
supposed
want
to
us to
be.
do that, tell us in the comments. And oh, wait, no, tell us the brands you would like us to test if you've
Yeah,
heard
if you
from them.
have one
Yeah,
that you've been, like, looking at and you're like, "Oh, I wanted to try those, but I don't wanna commit to, like, having a
we'll
six-pack
commit.
and a" Yeah, we'll commit for
We will
you.
commit
Yeah.
for you because I am full of commitment.
No, you are not. No, you are not.
Um, Listen, Rachel, I'm telling a new story,
Oh,
and it's like, oh, I'm like so full of commitment. All
yeah.
right. Maybe
Yeah.
think I'm like 50% there, but I did buy a desk, so I committed to that. And so next podcast that you guys see on YouTube, I'm gonna be sitting at a desk, a nice one, and
You
maybe
said it now.
I know.
Well,
Oh, that
when
means
it
I'll have to
comes, you
set
have
it
to
up.
that's what I'm saying, you have to put it together.
Oh, fuck. Bleep that.
You j you just
I didn't
promised.
really think that through.
No, you didn't.
I still don't have
It's
my
a
TV up. You know how many people have been watching this from Instagram being like, "I need me and my husband are invested. Do you have your TV up?" And I'm like, "Please ask next week."
this is
Tune in next week.
if it's just you and Louise next week, I'll be happy. I won't even mention it. I'll just be
Yeah,
like, you
thanks. Thanks
know,
for taking that pressure off. I'm
you
sure
don't
the
have to
thousands
commit.
of people that listen won't mention it.
Well, are you guys friends? Or you guys not friends?
I
Like, come
know.
on.
Yeah, like take the pressure off.
You ever set up a desk from Wayfair before? It's like a full ass commitment. You need like a weekend.
Yeah.
You need like a playlist,
Yeah, in the chair.
several Allen keys.
Mhm. Mhm. Oh,
It's
look
too
at you.
much. It's too much. It's too much. Yeah, I'm like an expert. You can call me over if you want because I could probably do it in like a quarter of the time. I'm telling you, I've put together so much furniture. It's
You just
absurd.
put it yeah, like, you're just throwing things out there with, like, your handy lady over there. I could just
Mhm.
put it together in a second. I put so much shit together, you don't even know.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
"Okay, girl."
Let's go. So today we wanted to take a minute and talk to you guys about the fact that we woke up and it's December and traditionally November, December, especially how they fall back to back like that. Those are two very difficult months fitness wise for many people because there are tons of commitments. There is a to do list that is 17 miles long. There are people pulling you in all kinds of directions. And you have the added pressure of like, this is the season of giving. And so like as women, we already have so much guilt about taking time for ourselves. Like, taking time to fitness and what that means of like taking time away from our kids or our husbands or our jobs or whatever. And I should say spouses. And it's like so much tougher, I feel like, in the season of giving because it's like, oh, especially now, I need to be spending time on doing things for other people, buying them thoughtful gifts, wrapping presents, volunteering at my kids' school, like all of these things that come up. And it's like, being pulled in all these directions. How are we going to carve out a tiny bit of time for ourselves to keep fitness? Because we know how we feel when we don't, right? There's been years where I've been like, I'll just January. Yeah. And I get so mad at myself.
Then you just start not feeling great,
Yeah.
right? Like, there's just so once you know how great it feels to make fitness a part of your daily, weekly life. You know how much clearer your mind works, how much more patience you have, and like for the people in your life that you we'll be seeing around these times. A lot of times around the holidays, like we're spending more time with family, we're spending more time with people that maybe we maybe see once or twice a year, and you want to go to these events. So you want to physically go there, right? But you also want to be present. And those two things are very different because if we have the ability to be present and give energy towards the people that we want to, we need to pull it from someplace, because giving time and giving energy are two very different things. You can spend a lot of time with people and not give them any of your energy. And you can spend a smaller amount of time with people and give them all of your attention and energy and have the ability to show up for them and yourself. But the truth is that sometimes during the holidays, we become so drained and so moving from place to place, and our social battery gets lower, and we don't take the time to fill our own cup, that we end up running from place to place and not giving the people that we want our energy. And I feel like that's a sad reality for a lot of us. So I'm excited to hit this topic, before things start to get like a little bit crazier, and kind of come back, like, have everyone maybe be a little bit mindful about the energy that we intend to bring to some of the people that we're going to see in December, and plan to do things that fill our cup before we're put in a position where we just don't have any more to give.
There's nothing left. It's definitely something you always realize too late. you know,
That's
it,
yeah. What's his
it's
hair doing?
hey girl. It's something you realize too late.
Yeah.
You don't realize you're completely drained until you're completely drained often, and then it's just so difficult to think about, well, I know what I need to do is working out, but like I'm already so far gone that that just seems impossible. And I think, the more that we can take proactive steps, especially during these times of year, it's just going to be great. It's just going to be something that you is manageable rather than, gets out of hand too quickly. So, we have some tips. We have some tips. But first,
Okay.
I love tips. First, I want to say, if you are someone who has traditionally said, like, bah, I'm leaving it till January, that's when I'm going to start. That's when things start. That's, my resolution. I just want to offer the perspective that you could go into January 20 workouts strong. If you worked out in December just 3 times a week, just 3 times a week, you could have 20 workouts in before most people have even started their resolution. So I know that it seems sometimes difficult, but when you think of in terms of like this is your life and it's happening right now, and you could be 20 workouts closer to your goal, with really only a time commitment of 3 days a week, which is manageable for most people. I want to just open up that it's possible.
Mhm. I love that you brought that up because I personally am I don't like the start dates for living your best life. I just really don't. I think that so much gets put off until tomorrow, next month, blah blah blah. Um, when your life is happening right now, and do you have an hour? Do you have 15 minutes? Do you have 20 minutes? Like, it's just really about, like, how much do you have instead of the start date that you could spend 15 minutes writing down and coming up with a thing or whatever. Or you could have just, like, got some movement in during that time and it would already be done. Like, you'd have one in your pocket, right? And I think one of the things that we need to think about when we're planning some of those, workouts, and we're planning some movement throughout December, is that something's always better than nothing. And using your time efficiently is a really important part of getting some movement in, and be flexible with, the amount of time that you have for that, because like sometimes we're just so overwhelmed with like, this is such a to do, this is I have to commit to, like, all of these things, and we kind of make it out bigger than it really needs to be, when we could just get some movement in during a time, feel better, and show yourself like a little bit more compassion with how you have the ability to get that movement in, and like that, like note that it's good.
That's tip number 1 actually, is
Oh yeah.
to, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we came up with Rachel loves a list. I'm like,
I
I'm gonna throw my
love
thoughts out there.
I live for a list, and I'm fine that you don't, but, like, I'm also just gonna be me, so back to the list. Number 1 is accept a smaller time window. If you are typically used to working out for an hour, you need to accept the fact that during unbelievably busy times like holidays, December, you need to accept that the time window is going to need to shrink. And that is so fine when you take the standpoint of like something's better than nothing. 30 minutes of working out is always going to be better than 0 minutes working out. And there's no need to say, but it's not an hour, but it's not an hour and a half. That's how long I typically take. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because anything more than 0 is going to give you more energy, help your digestion, help your sleep. Like, these are all things that don't stop being, important just because it's December. Arguably, they're even more important. So, just
Well, you hit on something
accepting
like
that.
great there with digestion, because I think a lot of people start to think about, alcohol consumption during the holidays, eating, going to different parties, eating things you don't typically eat, eating out a lot because you're going to like more functions, stuff like that. Those are all great, and we really need to remove any of the guilt that surrounds that, but also set your body up for success, because if you are going to some of these things and then you're just like feeling like shit after, and then you're in this perpetual cycle of like, well, now I'm working out less, I'm eating a ton of things I don't typically eat, I'm drinking more alcohol, my sleep schedule is getting messed up. Like, this is all set up for an increased level of stress, which is why during these times, like, what are we looking at that actually is causing some of the stress, and how can we keep the things that we really do enjoy about the holidays, and just add in some things that will make us feel better, that will like allow us to aid in some digestion with getting some movement in, getting better sleep, so that we're not just in a perpetual cycle of being stressed out and then having less sleep and less movement and eating weird foods. Like, that is all set up to feel stressful when it could be like a really enjoyable
Yeah,
season.
we should probably ask where the stress is coming from, because like, yeah, all being busy and stuff, and that can definitely be stressful, but how much are we adding to it by just simply, destroying our routines, having, digestion that's less than ideal, having sleep schedules that are less than ideal. It's being dehydrated from, drinking too much. It's all there. So, first of all, cut down the time and accept that, and just say like, that's what I'm going to do in order to make this fit. I'm not going to drop it all together. Instead, I'm just going to accept that my workouts are now 45 minutes. My workouts are now 30 minutes. Um, the second tip that we have is to simplify your equipment. If you are typically going to a gym and you have access to all of the, massive amounts of equipment and anything you could ever want for your fitness, that's great. Love that for you. It's going to might be difficult for you to get there in December because of the, all the things that go into getting to the gym, right? We have to drive there. We have to plan a time of day. We have to get in there, and it's not a quick thing always. What I would suggest, if that maybe still fits once a week, great. But I would suggest that you accept the fact that we're going to bring down the equipment and we're still going to be effective and mindful with our movements. It's just going to be with a pair of dumbbells this month.
Yeah. Um, there's a lot that you can do with very minimal equipment. And I don't expect everyone, so this is where it comes to like the amount of time, right? So if you're like, okay, but I don't know the things to do, quick shout to the fact that we have over 100 workouts, very minimal equipment on our YouTube channel that you can literally just look at what the workout is, take it and use it outside in your basement, whatever, wherever. But there's a lot that you can do with very minimal equipment. So just don't underestimate the fact that you could get a great workout in without making it to the gym. Our third tip is um, be open to odd workout times that are outside of your norm. So those of you who have developed a great gym schedule and you say like this is the time I go every single day. And if I can't make it during that time, a lot of what happens during times where you have things that are outside of your routine. If you're a routine person, you have something that's inserted outside of your routine, you say like, well, now I just can't go because I have to an event at 5:30, I go to the gym at 5:30, I guess it's out. Be open to the fact that you could switch that to you don't have to be a 6 a.m.er for the rest of your life. Believe me,
God, no.
6 a.m. gym workout. But you might say, okay, I know that I have these events that are coming up and they're at my typical gym time. So on that day, I'm just going to be maybe a 6 a.m.er, go to the gym just during an odd time. And like I hear this a lot with people that show up in classes that they aren't typically at. They're like, my body is just not um, ready for the gym at this time. Like, I totally get that, but you are there where you in a time where you wouldn't have been. So maybe you're like, you didn't eat breakfast first. Sometimes people like to work out at the end of the day. Like they have several meals. They go into their workout. Some people like to work out completely fasted when they first wake up, and they just feel better getting their workout in then. And it's totally fine. But during these times where we're looking at something being better than nothing, just be flexible with the time that you have to dedicate to the gym and look for opportunities instead of friction points. And what I mean by that is like generally when we're looking at our schedule that's outside of our norm, we see all of these friction points say like, well, that time is tied up in these areas. But at the same time that you have that thought, look for the opportunity there. Where is there a space where I might be able to fit in a session? And could that be a 6 or a 7 a.m. workout at home for 30 minutes? I'm gonna venture out to say, yes, you could put that in. Maybe it's your lunchtime. Maybe during your lunch break, you take 30 minutes to go outside and get a workout in, or maybe have a gym at your work, maybe work from home. Any of these times, like these kind of odds and ends where we're thinking about like, where could I plug this in? Just going into that growth mindset is a game changer.
It really is. And if, we're looking at our typical time and being so rigid to the fact that there are going to be multiple interruptions this time of year to our typical time, and we're using that as a reason to stay away, I get it because like that's what sometimes your brain wants to do and it defaults to that. But if you could see outside of that rigid thinking and just say like this isn't going to be forever. Like you said, I don't have to be a 6 a.m. or forever. I don't have to work out, for 30 minutes after the kids go to bed forever. This is just for right now. And I'm looking for places that it fits instead of seeing obstacles to getting it in at my normal time. Our fourth tip is that if you're typically an isolation type of fitnesser, where you have an arm day, you have a leg day, you have a glute day, like this is a time of year where likely there will be a significant amount of workouts missed, and that will kind of cause some imbalance in an isolationist type of schedule. What we would suggest if you are just doing the something's better than nothing is move to full body workouts. If you don't want to stick with that after, this busy time, that's totally fine. You know what works best for you. But the best bang for your buck, especially if you're going to accept a smaller time window and accept more minimal equipment, the best bang for your buck is always going to be working up in a full body setting, because that way, if sessions are missed during the week, you still know that you've hit those muscle groups adequately, and it's not so upsetting, or it doesn't lead to so much imbalance when you are able to return to your normal schedule.
Yeah, I love the bang for your buck here because when time is limited, maybe when equipment is limited, when we're stuck in some of the routines that we typically have, we just see like, well, I'm not going to be able to get all of these sessions in. And then, or I've hit just arm day like twice, and now I've not worked any lower body. Just getting full body workouts in is going to be um, a superior way during that time to get a full workout in. Our fifth and last one is to accept a lower level. So perhaps your output, your energy that you have during this time, or the strength that you have might be suffering a bit during this time because you have, your sleep schedule might be off. Hopefully it isn't. The things that you've been eating might be a little off. But we really have to look at the seasons that we're in and in an honest way. And when we show up, not put this dark cloud on showing up in training with, well, last month I was doing this weight, or I was so much faster, or like I just feel so bad. Like I might as well not even go because I'm not getting everything. It's just like, why are we putting this dark cloud over something that we're showing up and doing and we're doing for ourselves because we're not doing it like good enough, or our output is a little bit lower than it typically is.
Yeah, when you said the thing about like, you don't have to be a 6 a.m. or forever. I have experienced this firsthand when I switched from my like favorite, 5:30 like workout time. When I switched it to the mornings, I experienced like an extreme decline in what I was able to, my output basically. And I started being so mad at and fighting it like tooth and comb. Like, no, if I can move 35-pound dumbbells at 5:30, then I can move them at 7 a.m. Like, just power through it. You're such a little bitch. And that really was ruining my time.
Yeah.
It was a dark cloud over the session, and it made me not want to go back the next day because I was like, I just suck. I suck at this time. This time doesn't work for me. I was just like building up all these things. It was really only when I said to myself, like, maybe we use the 20s today. Maybe we use the
Yes.
20s, and maybe that's plenty and it's fine. And as I adjust to being a morning workouter and not having the amount of calories that I have at 5:30 p.m., that maybe I just say, like, for now, I'm going to lower the weight, I'm going to lower the expectation, and I'm going to get used to this. And maybe there'll be a time where I can come back to those weights because I have trained my body to be able to like do this thing. But Jesus, not week one.
It's such a difficult thing to see when you're in the middle of it because you're hit with some frustration and you're like, well, I could have done this a, a month ago, and like I could later in the day. Like, what is wrong with me? It becomes this thing that it's not supposed to with the dark cloud, and it does genuinely just like ruin what you're there to actually get out of it. So sometimes the best advice that I can give to that is like take a step back and realize, what are you trying to get out of fitness in general? What are you trying to get out of this session? And are you going to accomplish that going in with that attitude, basically? With that expectation, with that dark cloud. Like, are you going to accomplish the thing that you're actually here to do? And a lot of times the answer is no. So then you can really adjust how you go into it and what the expectations are, and find ways to be grateful for what you were able to get in that day, And that's a whole mindset shift.
I can tell you, for me, it was not going to lead to sustainability because if I was going to go in every day trying to force weights at a time where they did not move well, I was either A, going to get injured, or B, going to stop going.
Yeah.
I was just going to just like start making excuses and then just stop altogether. But the most freeing thing that I did for myself was just be like, I'm just going to use the weights that feel good right now, and I don't care what they are because I know what I'm here for. So, um, these, we have developed these over so many years of watching our athletes and the women in our fitness group try and navigate December, and what the kind of outcome has been in the past of like trying to force these things. And we've come up with this list based on massive amounts of experience with working with people at this time of year. And so much so that my programming, TTSL programming in December, is only dumbbells, and we move all of our workouts to fit in less than 60 minutes. So I literally revamped my entire system around the fact, and these are people that are dedicated to working out. These are people that worked out for years and years and years. I have members that have been members for 5 years and have been hitting 5 workouts a week, and they still so appreciate dumbbells in December. That is our program for December. Less than an hour. Everything is full body, and every single session only needs a pair of dumbbells. And we do that for our members as a gift to be able to get fitness without all of the constraints that come with December. So, if you've been
We've
thinking
thought it out
about
for
it,
you.
well,
You
it's
don't
just
need
year
Yeah.
we've done it different. We've done years and years of just like, oh, hey, we're gonna keep the same programming as we do all year. And it's like people just get so frustrated with themselves because they're missing so many sessions, and they feel like when they do have time for it, like they can't get to their barbell or they can't get to the gym. And this has come from years of working with athletes. So, if you are interested, we have our dumbbells in December for TTSL. You can sign up for a 1 month membership. Come and join all of the women who are getting in 20 workouts before January has even started. There are 5 workouts a week, but you can do as many as you want. And all you need to bring with you is a pair of dumbbells. They were having hot deals on dumbbells for some of the holiday sales. So grab yourself a pair of dumbbells and join us.
Yeah. They also have them on like Facebook Market.
Mm.
You can pick some up like super easy. Um, but we do a lot of assistance in December because we know some of these things are going on and have just developed some different strategies to help you. So we also have 12 days of fitness that happens in December, which is like 12 days of um, not necessarily all workouts. We do sprinkle in some workouts in. It's completely free. It's going to be on our Instagram. But it's just 12 days of some movement things, some habit things. Sometimes we have stretches. Sometimes we have like fun challenges to do to bring into some of your gatherings, which is actually such a fun thing that I don't know why we haven't done it in our family, but I like keep inserting the games that we're gonna play into my family chat. And like everyone hates me for it, but I'm in charge
You
of our
are.
joy.
Yeah.
so, so we're gonna be doing some of the challenges.
That's a
And
self-assigned job.
it's a self-assigned. Well, we work off of our strengths.
Sure.
You make lists and you have the itinerary. I bring joy.
I'm good with that. I'm
Everyone,
good with that.
we're just playing off of our strengths. But we also have our movement calendar coming up soon. So in December, you can sign up for dumbbells in December, or you can join our free 12-day challenges that happened in December for fitness. Make sure you follow us on Instagram or be in our group or app, or else you'll miss it. But for January, we also have our movement calendar, which is 30, is it 30 days in January?
This year, I don't
31?
know.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
What
30
however many
days
days
have
are in
September,
January.
April, June, and November. All the rest have 31. Yeah,
Okay.
31.
So 31.
The rhyme said, I don't know.
Perfect. So 31 days of um, habits that we give out completely for free. So you can look forward to that starting in January, but you'll also get the calendar in December. But we have some of that coming up, and those are just habits that you can take into the rest of your year. Some of them are movement based, some of them are nutrition based, some of them are mindfulness practices, or just some habits that we have found lead to success throughout the rest of your year. And I will tell you this, our community loves it. There's thousands of women that join every single year and have touched back to the habits they built in January, 6 months later, a year later, that have set them up for success for the rest of their year. So it's completely free. I highly suggest you just get in on that shit.
So much stuff. We're dashing through December.
We're dashing through December, but can I mention also the rest days just because I love them? Our resting sweatpants come out this week, and we have some new colors, so we're super excited about that. But I want to remind you guys to get some of your cozy things in December as well because it just feels right.
Quintessential boyfriend cut, the comfiest pants. Like if you're hanging around in December, just like hanging around your house, like doing all of the things, you have to be doing it in the rest day sweats. So head to Constantly Varied Gear, get you some. Head to TCSL, grab you a nice plan for December so that you can get your workouts in. And then join us on Instagram for the fun 12 days of fitness. We love you guys. Have a great week. Happy December.